This is a tutorial for dividing using the strategy of the standard algorithm. In our last lesson, we did dividing using the strategy of partial quotients. So today we'll be doing the step-by-step standard algorithm having one-digit divisors. Tomorrow we will move on to two-digit divisors. So here we have a division problem. 412 divided by 4. 4 is our divisor. And off to the side I'm going to write the steps that you'll follow. So first you need to set the problem up correctly. 412 divided by 4. Now, the first thing you're going to do for step number 1 is divide. So we're going to see how many times 4 goes into 4. It's technically 400. We're going to put our quotient in the hundreds place. So 4 goes into 4 one time. And another way to think about that is what times 4 is 4, or close to 4. It cannot be over 4, because then this number is too high, and you would have to bring it down 1. So now we're on to multiplication. We multiply the first number of our quotient times the divisor, and we put it under the number that we just used. So 1 times 4 is 4, and now we subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0, and now we bring down. We bring down the next number in the divisor, in the dividend. So we're bringing down our 1, and now we go back up. You can never do two steps or the same step twice in a row. You have to keep going down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, divide. Just keep going through it. So this is an example of a time when some people might bring down the 2. So bring down twice, and you can't. So watch, you'll see why. So 1 divided by 4. Well, 4 can't go into 1. It goes in 0 times. So some people forget that we can use 0. So what they would do is they would bring down that 12. You don't want to do that. So we just divided. Now we're on multiply. The number that we just wrote, we're going to multiply it by the divisor. So 0 times 4 is 0. And now we're on subtract. And now we're on bring down. And now we're on back up to divide. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now we're on multiply. We multiply the number we just wrote by the divisor. 3 times 4 is 12. And now we're on subtract. And now we're done. The only time you're done is at this step. When you go up and there is no other number, you've already brought down the ones place. There's no other number in the dividend to bring down. You are finished. Now if you have a 0 here, you don't have a remainder. But if you have a number here, and you have to make sure it's less than 4, if you have a number down here, then that's your remainder. We don't have a remainder because we have a 0. So our quotient is 103. Now you can check your work by going quotient times divisor, and you should get the dividend. So we'll go 103, your answer, times the divisor, and we get 412. So we can know for sure whether our answer is correct or not. So we have 412, and so we're correct. So our quotient was 103. Let's try another one. We're going to write our steps. So we divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and we keep looping until there's no more numbers to bring back down. So 351 divided by 3. So 3 can go into 3, or 300, and it goes in one time. It's actually in the hundreds place, so it actually goes into 300 100 times. So now we're on multiply. The number that we just wrote times the divisor. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we're on subtract, bring down, and now we're back up to divide. 5 divided by 3. Now 3 is not going to go into 5 perfectly. So what you want to think is how many times can it go in, and we may have a little bit left over. Or you can think about it this way. What times 3 is close to 5, but it can't be over 5. Like I can't say 2. 2 times 3 is 6. That would be too much. So we're going to say 1. 1 times 3 is 3. We're on subtract. Now we know we're okay when we've subtracted. We haven't brought down yet. We've subtracted and our number is less than our dividend. If we subtract, and we haven't brought down yet, and our difference is larger than our dividend, then we could have put it in one more time. So that's a sign that you're taking a wrong road, and you need to back up a little bit. But we're good, it's less than 3. So we just subtracted, so now we're on bring down. 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7, because 7 times 3 is 21. We're on multiply, we're on subtract, and we're on multiply, now we're on subtract. We get 0. We go up, there's nothing left to bring down, so we're done. We have 0 for our answer, so the quotient is 117. We're going to check our work by going quotient times divisor, and we should get 351, our dividend. 3 times, we have 5, and we have our dividend, so we know that we're correct. At any point that you want to pause this and try one on your own, you can do that. So now we have a little bit larger of a dividend. We're going to write down our steps. We have divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So we're going to set up our problem. Divided by 7. Now let's look at this. We can't go 4 divided by 7. The number needs to be at least 7 or larger for 7 to fit into it. So I'm going to extend my line to 43. So nothing is going to go right here. We're going to put our first number in our quotient over the last number that we're working with. All right, so if I put a number here, like let's say I put a 1 there, well, that would be saying that 7 goes into 4 one time, which it doesn't. So 7 doesn't go into 43 evenly, so we want to think, how many times does it go in? I can also think, what times 7 is very close to 43 but not over it? Well, I know that 6, notice I put it over the 3, not over the 4, because we're going into 43. 6 times 7 is 42. So you can see how knowing your fast facts is very beneficial, your multiplication facts, to doing division. So we just did multiplication. 6 times 7 is 42. Now we're on subtraction, and now we're on bring down. So we want to think 19 divided by 7. How many times does 7 go into 19? Well, I know that 7 goes into 21 3 times, but 19 is less than 21, so it must be 2 times. I put my quotient over the number that I just brought down. All right, I just brought down the 9, so my quotient goes over the 9. So 2 times 7 is 14. Now I'm on subtraction, and now I'm on bring down. 56. Whoop, 56. So I'm going to think, how many times does 7 go into 56? Well, I know that 56 divided by 7 is 8. And 8 times 7 is 56. Get a 0. So now we're going to check our work. We have nothing else to bring down, so we're done. We're going to go quotient times divisor should get us our dividend. 8 times 7 is 56. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1 is 43. 4,396. 4,396. So I'm checking my work by doing that multiplication. Here's one more. Why don't you go ahead and pause it and try it on your own and see how you do. Okay, we're going to write our steps down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and loop back up. All right, so we're going to set it up. 2,686 divided by 8. 8 doesn't go into 2. 2 is too small, so I'm going to extend it to 26. 26 divided by 8. What times 8 is close to 26 but not over it? Well, 3 times 8 is 24. The 3 goes over the 6, not the 2, because we're not putting 8 into 2. We're putting 8 into 26, which is actually, we're putting 8 into 2,600, and it would go in 300 times. So 8 times 24, 3 times 8 is 24. We're on multiply, now we're on subtract. Bring down the 8. 28 divided by 8. Well, 3 times 8 was 24. Let's bump it up one. 4 times 8, well, that's 32, so that's too much. It's more than 28, so we're going to do 3 again. 3 times 8 is 24. And bring down. Now we have 46. 46 divided by 8. Well, I know that 48 divided by 8 is 6, but 48 is too big. So I'm going to say 40 divided by 8 is 5, so 8 goes into 46 5 times, because 5 times 8 is 40, but if I made that a 6, it would be too much. It can't be higher than 46. So we're going to go 40, subtract. Now there's nothing else to bring down, so I'm done. But I have this 6, so that becomes our remainder. 335, remainder 6. Checking your work with remainder is a little bit different. You still go quotient times divisor. So we're going to do this multiplication. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 is 28. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is... So we have 2,680, which is not our dividend. But that doesn't mean you're wrong, because what you need to now do, since you had a remainder, is add the remainder. Okay? So we're going to go 6, 8, 6, 2, 2,686, and now we have it. So that is a quick tutorial on the strategy of standard algorithm with division using single-digit divisors. And tomorrow we'll move on to double-digit divisors.